officially welcome you to this is day 4 of CS Ed Week. And if you're not familiar with CS Ed Week, no problems. We're going to share that with you in a little bit. My name is Vanessa Jones, and I am a CS for All Teachers Community Ambassador. I am also an instructional technology design coach / specialist for the Austin Independent School District in Austin, Texas. And I am a CSTA Equity Fellow this year. And I am super excited to have you here. And I think my most important part is that I am a fur baby mom and I'm addicted to cruises. That's my personal life too. And with us tonight, I want to introduce you to Susan Reeves. She will be one of our presenters tonight. Susan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am also a facilitator for Code.org. My day job is as a digital age learning consultant at Education Service Center Region 20 in San Antonio, Texas. I connect with you, Michael, because I'm a William and Mary graduate, former Virginia resident. I have a million children. They're all brilliant and all around the world. And I almost thought I had one convinced to major in computer science, but that didn't happen. So I'm happy to share with you tonight some Code.org resources.
Thank you, Susan. And then also with us tonight is Lena Shalat. And sorry if I messed up your name.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lena Saleh, and I am the PD and sales director at CodeMonkey. I've been there for about 3.5 years. And then I formerly taught in the classroom doing STEM training. And when Code.org first began in its earlier days, I was a Code.org trainer. And so I've been doing that for quite a long time, and I'm just really passionate about computer science. So thanks for joining us.
Okay. Thank you, Lena. And so before we kick off our Code.org event tonight, I wanted to just give you a little general gist about CS Ed Week. And CS Ed Week is generally it's an event, and the Hour of Code is actually an event that takes place during CS Ed Week, which is usually either the first week or second week in December. And it's really just an organized event. It's really to inspire our K through 12th grade students and educators to just really learn computer science. And there's a variety of different companies that come together, and there's we're advocating about equity in CS, and so there's a variety of different activities. And in this particular website, which I'll share with you at the very end, we have all of these links in our CS for All Teachers ambassador community. And so we'll share those with you and share all the different things, but we're super excited to just kick off our Hour of Code event. And so like I said, here with our CS Ed Week, I want to show you, just take a quick few minutes just to kind of show you this, and then we'll kick off, give you some opportunities to engage in some of the activities that we're going to do tonight. When you go to our CS Ed Week site, you'll see there's a variety of different topics where either it's Teach, where you can see a variety of different activities that you can do, identities. Our theme this year is Teach CS Everywhere. Last year was CS for Good. And so every year we have a different theme. What I really like is that we're celebrating teachers and we're celebrating educators, and most importantly, we're celebrating our students. And so this is a variety of different activities. I will place the link to this in the chat later on, and so you'll actually have that. But what we're waiting for right now, we're going to get ready to code, and we're going to show you what the Hour of Code is. And I really like this video, and just a caveat, this video is a little old, but it really inspires me, and it just really kind of kicks off the Hour of Code event. So ignore the date and time that's in the video, but really look at how much fun the students are engaging in the activities, and also to listen to what the teachers are talking about.
Okay, now you're gonna press run. This is so cool!
Hour of Code.
The Hour of Code. Todos lo pueden hacer.
یا پروگرامی کد. من 42 خط کد نوشتم.
Your teacher says you guys are into it.
We are. It's very awesome.
Students around the world had an hour of code today. It's part of a global movement to show kids what it takes to create the programs and apps they spend so much time using.
The largest education events in history.
Organizers set what they called an ambitious goal of reaching 10 million students this week. Almost 15 million signed up.
This week, I'm proud to join the students, teachers, businesses, and nonprofit organizations taking new steps to support computer science in America's schools.
You guys are already getting a head start on taking over the world.
I got it.
They've been so excited about it.
Oh my gosh, it's working. I did it right.
They don't even have to be a computer science engineer. Maybe they want to do something else. But in our world, this is going to be the basis for everything that we do.
Move. Semicolon.
Look what I did.
It's so beautiful.
When you're building a program, you have to think outside of the box.
If you can change technology, you can change the world.
I challenge girls in every single country to learn 1 hour of code.
Every district should do, every district can do it.
Please help us get the Hour of Code to every school and every classroom and every child.
And my school's doing it.
I just totally love that video. It just really just kind of pumps me up and, you know, get me ready to learn all the variety of different things about the Hour of Code. And that's what we're going to do in a little bit. Susan's going to kick us off. But before we do that, I want to ask Aaron and Michael, have you participated in the Hour of Code before?
I have not.
Aaron says, okay. Okay. What about you, Michael? You can come off a mic or put it in a chat.
Yeah, so I actually have. What we do is we have our co-activities at Virginia Tech. So
okay, perfect. All right, thank you so much for sharing those. And I would love to, Michael, for you to go to our CS for All teachers community and share some of the things that you are doing at your campus, and we'll share those links with you later on. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to turn everything over to Susan, and we're going to kick off our first presentation.
Thank you, Vanessa. So we're going to divide most of the remaining time into 2 segments. I'll be focusing on code.org resources, specifically for the Hour of Code, and then Lena will be talking about CodeMonkey. So you will get a copy of my presentation. It's embedded. A link to it is embedded on my bio page in the main presentation link that will be shared with you. So please do know that that will be happening. So I think you probably know that code.org is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit organization that creates computer science professional development for teachers and direct curriculum for students. They partner with school districts throughout the country, and they were the primary organizer of the Hour of Code campaign. There are over, I think this number has even grown lately, but millions of students on code.org. And what's important to us and is essential to our mission is that almost half of those students are female and half of them are from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups, as well as students in high need schools, title campuses, things like that. We've over 100,000 teachers have been taught to teach computer science because our belief is that you don't have to be a computer science major to introduce students to computer science. Code.org has a global impact all around the country because the tutorials are available in a variety of languages, and I'll be showing you how to access that today. So, you know, some people think computer science is just about technology, but really it's about logic, problem solving, and creativity, the whole computational thinking, which is so critical for success in any career these days. And most all code.org activities involve those the creativity, collaboration, communication, persistence, and problem solving, which we really need, and that's a huge part of the student engagement. So our vision is that every child in every school in the country and in the world really should have the opportunity to learn about computer science from a very young age. When you're in code.org resources, I just want to encourage you to always look at the bottom of the page where the program is being run, because there's a drop-down box, small, but it's there to switch languages. So if you're working with a campus where you have newcomers or bilingual ESL students, there are a wide variety of languages that you can switch the code into, and you'll see, it'll change if you're doing the block-based coding, it'll change the blocks. If you're doing text-based, it'll change the text. Hugely important to meet the needs of all the students. Beyond the hour of code, there is curriculum. There is curriculum all the way from kindergarten up through high school AP computer science curriculum. The elementary curriculum has courses for grades K through 5. There's a mixture of lesson types, and now there is a greater emphasis on developing lessons that are aligned with core curriculum content, because there is a lot of pressure on classroom teachers to meet specific goals in the classroom. And, depending upon the state that you're in, technology and computer science may not be part of your current state standards. So by integrating the core curriculum areas with computer science, we're hoping to have a greater impact. And this is a new resource from code.org. It is growing and developing greatly as we go. Part of the recommendation is that there is a new resource that's included in the Hour of Code called Hello World. And so code.org recommends starting with Hello World before students begin the open-ended curriculum-focused modules. So we'll look at that specifically in a minute. So in terms of the CS connections, which is linked in the presentation, you'll see that the two new activities are the Poem Art, which is literacy focused, and Hello World. For each module, after students have done the Hour of Code style activity, there are now open-ended projects and modules that are being developed around that. So there are lesson plans for teachers. You'll see the grade level recommendations, the curriculum content area, and the estimated time for that specific project. So you'll see, ecosystems, life cycles, character study, story morals, and then some bridging lessons that provide a way to make a connection between computer science and other subjects. So these are just, this is, as I mentioned, a growing resource. It's brand new this fall. And so we really wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. All right, as we go forward, what can you get for your district or your campus? There's free training for teachers. So I've given you the link for that for K-5 teachers. There's summer training for middle school and high school teachers. There is a charge for that. However, there are many scholarships available, especially if you're at a title campus. All code.org curriculum itself is free. So there's no charge for student accounts, teacher accounts, unlimited classes. All of that is free, including all the Hour of Code resources, which many companies contribute to, not just code.org. So in terms of code.org and the Hour of Code, in data that was collected in one of the first years in 2013, more girls participated in computer science in 1 week than had in the past 70 years. So I just love that number. It's amazing the impact that the program has had. So I'm going to share some links with you in the chat, and I want you to know that since I work a lot with training elementary teachers, I have actually taken some of the Hour of Code tutorials and filtered those down to just show the code.org tutorials. Because if a teacher has made classroom accounts for her students or his students in elementary school, they're oftentimes not comfortable having students go to the entire Hour of Code website. Okay. The Hour of Code website is amazing and it's very easy, hourofcode.com.us. And I'm going to give you some time to explore that in a minute. When you go there and you go to activities, it is just mind-blowing how many companies have contributed activities to the Hour of Code. And so while this is fantastic and you can filter by grade level, you can filter by the type of technology you have or the topics you want to cover, this can be overwhelming for elementary students. So one of the things that I've done for my elementary teachers is I've given them just a shortened, filtered list of the code.org tutorials if they would like to rein it in a little bit in terms of what they're giving to their students. Of course, they can also link directly to the tutorials on code.org or in the Hour of Code. I also have a planning guide or countdown to the Hour of Code. A little late for this year, but for next year, I update the same document every year. So if you're in charge of planning the Hour of Code activities for your campus or your district, I've tried to put links to all the resources in this one document. So you can bookmark this document, and next fall, I'll update it so you'll be ready to lead efforts on your own campus for that next year. All right, so what I would like to do now is give you some sandbox time. We're going to take about 10 minutes, and I would suggest that you either go to the hourofcode.com.us or that filtered list. Both of those links are in the chat. And when you go there, click on activities if you're going to the Hour of Code. Please use one of the code.org activities. I'm suggesting you start with Hello World or Poem Art, since those are the two newest from code.org. And while you've got some time to work, I'm here and can answer questions, anything that you want to know about those two activities or anything else that I've spoken about. Or if you've already seen these two activities and you'd like to go to that shortened list of code.org tutorials, you can pick any of the items on this list from previous years. They're all also in the Hour of Code website, but I've pulled them out here. So sandbox time, start playing and experimenting, and I will wait to hear your questions or comments. One thing I do want to mention is that the Hour of Code activities do not require student accounts. However, if the students have accounts, if they're old enough that they have an email address, they're over the age of 13, they can sign in and they can create their own account. Or if a teacher has created an account for them and they're signed in, their progress will be saved from activity to activity. So that's super important. And if they end up doing an activity that can be shared with others. They will also be able to access other open-ended activities through the Create button here at the top. But if they're just doing an hour of code and you want to make it as simple as possible, they do not even have to sign in or log in order to begin using the tutorials. One of the great things about the Hour of Code tutorials, and really all of code.org's work, is that it's all scaffolded. So there are introduction videos that students can watch. Teachers can show them a whole class, or it can be self-paced by a student. And then each tutorial will give the student feedback. Their instructions are always at the top here. At the lower left, here is that language option I had mentioned to you before. And there is a very important capability here built in now, which is integration with Immersive Reader. So there will either be a speaker.
Hello, world.
That will read the directions aloud to students, or they can open up Microsoft's Immersive Reader tool and also have the directions read aloud to them through Immersive Reader. So those are just a couple of things I wanted to point out. The little light bulb means there's a tip or a hint available for the student. We always encourage students to provide feedback on each level of the puzzle, and they can continue or they can go back to the previous level. So if you've got them pair programming or working with a partner, they can go back and try other things, or they can continue on to the next level. And Michael or Aaron, if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Great, Aaron. So if you've never used code.org materials, know that they will give you an alert when they're introducing new things. So in this instance, this level is part of a larger project that might carry across several screens. So when students do something in the one screen, it will carry over. Now, if for some reason they've just got a mess on their hands, right? And they don't know what to do, they can always go to this button called version history, and they can start over. So it's like rewinding things to the beginning. So in this instance, they just have to give each sprite a different location. And there's a pin that allows them to place the sprites at specific places on the screen. The little characters are called sprites. Because the program scaffolds them through the activity, you'll see that the toolbox area will introduce different tools as they move through the tutorials. And this is block-based programming, so everything is in visual blocks. However, they can click on Show Code and they can kind of see the JavaScript that's under the hood of this activity. So this is meant to be low barrier of entry for students, but also for those who are curious, they can see what the real code is, as our third graders like to say, whenever they're doing it. At code.org, our philosophy is very much that we want this to be a student discovery based experience. So we don't want you to feel like you have to absolutely understand every little bit about each activity and have a deep knowledge of computer science. We want you to allow students to discover things and share. And so we talk about the concept of a teacher being a lead learner. So you might notice I'm on level 3 of the Hello World activity, and there's a block here that they haven't taught us about yet. So if a student drags it over and uses it, great, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's something that we encourage. So don't always feel like you need to pre-teach. We want you to really allow students to explore and discover. When you're first working with students, especially younger students, we encourage you to pair them together in something called pair programming, because then they're talking about the work and they're using the language of computer science, they're problem solving together, and they'll tend to enjoy the activity a lot more and be more engaged if they're working with a partner or a friend. Oh, yes, absolutely, Erin. So to move the location of the sprite, when there is a sprite and you see the location is the yellow block to the right, if you click on the little pin at the far end of it, that then puts a highlight upon your workspace over here, and you can just drag that sprite and click. When you click, it puts the coordinate positions automatically into the workspace over here, so the students don't have to type them. So if I want to move the dog to a different starting position, I can go here and I can move it here. Now, in a few levels beyond this, you will learn about events and ways to make the sprites move on the screen in other ways, but this is how you set the initial location of the sprite. Great question. So I'm just going to jump ahead way far more than you'll have time to do. So you'll notice there's an instructional video because the concept of events, an event is something that happens that causes something else to happen, right? So you click or two characters collide or, something that creates this event. And the students will learn about events and will learn to set what will happen. So when this character is clicked, something will happen, right? That's called an event. And events are a little bit different because they don't get connected physically to the main sequence of your code. So that is something that is often confusing, especially for younger students when they first start out. So just know the event blocks do not connect because they're like the overall rules that are going to run throughout that program. Okay, I am almost out of time for the code.org session. So I just want to encourage you to explore these activities on your own and allow students to learn through discovery. You will be amazed at what they will figure out. The final level in almost every code.org activity is very open-ended and is designed for students to be able to create pretty much whatever they want to create. And so you will find that 1 hour of code will usually not be enough because they will want more time. They can share what they've done once they've created something. They can copy someone else's activity by getting their share link and remixing it. So it's a great experience and a wonderful way to introduce computer science to students of any age, right? All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn things over to Lena. So
Thank you so much, Susan. That was awesome. Let's give Susan a big hand. Or you can use your reactions too. All right, and next we have Lena with Code Monkey.
I was talking, of course I was muted. I was like, oh yeah, no one's hearing me. Susan, that was great. I love that every single year code.org has like just the amount of changes that they make to the platform is really great. Okay, so everyone, thank you guys so much. My name, as mentioned before, is Lena Saleh, and I work with Code Monkey. So I'm just going to go a little bit through Code Monkey itself. If you're not already following us, I would encourage you to do so. We have Twitter chats that we hold regularly, just different things to kind of encourage computer science conversation amongst our ambassadors and different things like that. So I definitely would suggest checking that out. If you haven't heard about Code Monkey started in 2014. It was actually two brothers and their childhood best friend. They grew up with computer science parents, but their pathways kind of led them different ways, but they started to teach children how to code. And when they started to begin doing so, they realized that the kids just really didn't like to learn in that old school way of the computer science, the really boring way when you inspect your screen, that type of code. Students just didn't really grasp that. So the Code Monkey was born through a simple animation at the beginning, actually based on logo. And so now we do have users almost in every single country. And so we are international. We'll just ignore that. But we're going to talk about basically just where to find the Hour of Code courses. We'll have some times to kind of check that out. That slide was in from a different thing earlier this week. So what kind of makes Code Monkey different than other platforms? So Code Monkey stems that it's really a gamified activity. Everything is very scaffolded, so you can't go from one challenge to the next without having done everything in between. It's very user-friendly and intuitive for students. And I think the best part is that we do put teachers in the driver's seat. We know that most teachers don't have a background in computer science, so we really try to give you that support to kind of get you there. So it is really easy to roll out and add students and things like that. So where can you find us? So you can go to the Hour of Code page and you can find us there. So I'll navigate actually how do you even get there. So when you go to the Try It on the Hour of Code or code.org, whichever you prefer, it's nice that they segmented this out. You can, this year we've actually been featured on the main page. So that's exciting with our new Blocked Jumper course. But like Susan had mentioned, there are all kinds of contributors from everywhere. Anyone who has a coding curriculum has an Hour of Code activity, basically. So there's hundreds of them here. You can sort by the specific, let's say you have a specific curriculum provider that you like, you can sort, you can come here and kind of explore it. I would recommend, if you don't check us out, check other people out. There are so many amazing, amazing activities. I always say, try a no thank you taste. So try it, see if it's like, if you like it for yourself. If you don't, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a good place to try it. If you feel comfortable, then your students feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, that's what we want you to feel, is an ease. So that's kind of how everything goes there. So you can find us Code Monkey Studios. We just go by Code Monkey now, but we've been doing this for so long that it says Code Monkey Studios here. You can see that there's different pre-reader. You can navigate by the different grade levels that's here, as well as a beginner and a comfortable. I will say that these comfortable really do require a prerequisite, meaning that the students have some background knowledge. With the Hour of Code, the really important part about everything, no matter what you choose, is that you really try to keep in mind that every activity is really meant to, for the students to teach for the students to get as much coding as possible in that hour. So we really want them to not be inhibited. So if they try something that's too challenging, then they're going to be frustrated, and that's not what you want them to do. So you really want them to start off with something that's more simple and easy. And if it's too easy, who cares? At least they're like, oh, I can do this. You know how they are. They're excited when they can do something that they've never, that's too easy for them. And they're so proud about it. And then they can get to the next level of challenge. So just something to keep in mind. On the Code Monkey page, which I'll throw into the chat box here in just a couple of minutes, we do have an Hour of Code page, and all of our courses, every single course that we offer does have an Hour of Code activity. Doesn't require student accounts. You can create a free trial if you want to have some of the features like progress tracking and gradebooks and things like that. But the students really don't have to have that there. Like Susan had mentioned on code.org, you don't have to have the accounts. Something to just keep in mind when you do run an hour of code activity is things happen. Technical issues happen. It's the busiest week of all the weeks to test out these activities. So if something goes wrong, just know you kind of have a plan B with that. So that's here for you to explore as well. So that's how you find us. So we do have anywhere from a K-8 scope and sequence, so that beginner and comfortable. We have a CodeMonkey Junior, which is a pre-reader block-based course, as well as our Beaver Achiever. That's also block-based. Our first course that we ever started was CoffeeScript, and CoffeeScript is a shorter version of JavaScript and Coffee. So they kind of go behind the scenes. And actually, most of our block-based coding is actually written in CoffeeScript as well. So it's kind of behind the scenes how they use it as a web-based language. We have a math one, an event-driven game builder, and a Python. So we do have quite the scope for you to kind of check out depending on what you're teaching and what you feel most comfortable with. That's kind of how that goes. And on the CodeMonkey webpage, we do let you know what it's used for, what grades and what language they'll be using. When you do click on any single one of these courses, we do have where you can start playing right here, which is what we'll do in a few minutes, but it also will let you know how many levels there are, what grade level, what concepts they'll be working on. So this is fun to also ask the kids after, did you see loops in your course? And you can kind of ask them what loops mean, and just kind of, encouraging some of that conversation. Vocabulary really ties into what they're, how vocabulary is. We all been in the classroom, continue to be in the classroom, and vocabulary plays a really important component. So it's kind of nice to have that too. Then when you're talking to parents, you're like, students worked on loops this week and they did some logic and some sequencing. So it's a nice way to kind of create that buy-in too. Something that I'm sure Susan will fully support and everyone else here is this is a really good place to invite parents in. The Hour of Code is the best place to build community. And when you have buy-in from parents, then you are more able to integrate computer science as much as possible, because parents are going to drive for that change. Sometimes it doesn't happen if you're feeling like you're not supported in your classrooms or things like that. That's the best way. And also industry. So I love to, that's actually how I got connected with Vanessa. I wanted to give back to students that even though I was out of the classroom, I still wanted to volunteer my time. I guarantee you that lots of other communities, wherever you are in the country, you can reach out to your local providers, and they'll be a little timid at first, but it's a really good way to also expand that community reach as well. So just some different tips to kind of take away with that. So now we're going to kind of explore the courses a bit. So I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about the courses, and you can kind of choose whichever you decide. So CodeMonkey Junior is our pre-reader course. It's computational thinking. You're helping this monkey get his treasure in bananas by just moving forward and moving backwards. It's really about those mouse-based skills for the younger students. I always honestly encourage any student to try this because it's just really fun and engaging. So just, something around that way. And then Beaver Achiever is block-based. It's really fun too. They're working through, they get to looping in that one. And Space Adventure is an entry-level course as well. So Space Adventure, Coding Adventure, and Dota Does Math will all kind of fit nicely together. I would say do Coding Adventure before doing Dota Does Math, so they have a little bit of background on the CoffeeScript beforehand. And then Banana Tales, I would say it says here it's beginner. I would say it's definitely more intermediate. Python can be a bit tricky, especially if you haven't done coding before. It can seem really intimidating when you're getting into it. You're like, what am I doing here? So I would say stick with CoffeeScript first and then try the Python if you're feeling really like a risk taker. If you're feeling like a risk taker, go for it. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you feel that kind of snag, it's okay. Just try something new. It's totally fine. Game Builder, that's an event driven. It does use CoffeeScript. So I would say do Coding Adventure first before the Game Builder. And then Moonlander, to be really honest with you, is our most difficult course. It was designed for an Israeli cyber competition. So CodeMonkey is based in Israel, our headquarters is there. And so it was designed to it has physics-based concepts like thrust and acceleration and things like that. I find it extremely hard to play. The kids smoke me every time, which is totally fine. They're way better at playing games than me. I can never get the rover to land on the pad, but they can always do it. No matter how much I adjust, I'm not good at it. So I would say that's the most challenging of them. And then we just recently launched this year, this Blocks Jumper course, which was featured on the code.org page, which we're very excited about. And actually our founder, if you didn't have a chance to catch it out this week, we did a series of webinars. So on Monday, we did a Women in STEM. So our programmers are actually majority women, which is very rare in the coding world. So I would recommend checking those out. I'll throw those in the chat too. On Tuesday, one of our founders taught a class to students about coding adventure. And then yesterday, our block jumper course. I would say that of the two founders, I would check out yesterday's with the block jumper. I think he did a really, really great job of just talking about the different components, and you can play that anytime for your students too, especially if you want to introduce it. Some really great questions around that. So I'm going to throw this link in here so you don't have to navigate to code.org and try to find things. I would say click on one, find one that really fits your style and what you want to check out. And like I said, just take a no thank you taste. If you're not the biggest fan of that one, try another one. You'll be surprised your students will be up and moving. I actually found CodeMonkey before I started working there by using the Dodo Does Math course. I loved it because they were using a protractor, and they picked up the protractor and they were doing angle measurements. And a lot of my students always struggle in that specific area, and also help with the robotics piece of understanding like how much we're actually turning. And some of my students turned to me and they said, oh, okay, now I get the protractor. They didn't really understand how to do them, what acute and obtuse was beforehand. So that is always, I think, one of our most underutilized course, but one of my favorites for that reason. So if you have questions, let me know. I'll also throw in here these webinars that we did this week. I would just recommend, even the Women in STEM is really powerful to check out. We just have conversations of what it's like to really be a woman in the field. Hard conversations like being a mom and what it means to be a mom as a woman and being a computer scientist. So we just kind of tackle some hard questions that kind of we drive them from questions that our students asked. So it wasn't just so heavy, just me asking them questions. Yeah, I think what Susan said here, having parent nights where students show what they've learned, it's really fun, especially if they have the chance to create something and then the parents can see what they created and they don't like say anything. The parents are way quicker to tap out than the kids, and they're just like, I don't know what to do. And you can kind of see the frustration, but it's good for them to experience that so they can understand the skills and strategies that are needed to actually do computer science and how it does relate those computational thinking skills to everything that we do in a day-to-day basis. I actually did a live coding class with some students yesterday. None of them had coded. It's always my favorite when students' parents write me after and they're like, oh, we never knew that coding was so cool. And the students really loved it. So they were, at first they were like really shy, didn't want to do anything. And so we did some challenges together. Me never having met them. And we all did it together. And, by the end, they were like, oh, can I do one? Can I show my screen? Can I do this? So I think when you really first take the leap to doing computer science, you're going to be surprised at how much they just have like a lack of, they just are more excited about learning things and they're not afraid of failing like we are. They don't have like as much risk involved with failing. So when you first take that try, you'll be surprised. They'll be asking you for it. I bet Susan can probably attest to that too.
Absolutely.
Is anyone here combining augmentative, alternative communication with coding? Are you guys doing anything with that, Susan?
Not that I'm aware of.
Me either. That's a good point. It's always good to hear feedback, and we always take that, both of us, we'll take that back, and we, anything that kind of comes up, it's good to kind of have those conversational pieces as well. I also was in a classroom pre-pandemic. It feels like a few weeks ago or years, who knows. But when we were doing these, there was a couple of students that were had trouble, reading, and they were really struggling with that. And they came up to me and they said, "Oh, Lena, we're really excited. We feel like we're real computer scientists because we can use the code, because these buttons kind of help them spell out different things and things like that." They said they always felt like they could only get stuck doing block-based coding because syntaxing was such a big issue for them. So if you do find that, try something that has the text, but also some blocks to help kind of support that for students too. I think it's important to scaffold as much as you can for students. And don't feel like you just have to do, while blocks are great, text is very rare that you go into a real world job and they're like, "Hey, solve all of this and just write our webpage in blocks." It doesn't really happen that way. So you can encourage them. And if that's what makes them feel comfortable, then, and they'll let you know if they're ready for that. Don't feel afraid just because there is syntaxing errors that they might make. Because even really well-seasoned programmers make syntax errors. They'll go on sprints where they're working months on code, and then they go to figure it out and they have no idea where their syntax error is. And it's like a treasure hunt trying to figure out where it is, like a metal detector in the sand, trying to figure out where their syntax error is. So it's okay that they experience that. And I think letting them know that others more seasoned and that type of thing experience that too, it just humbles them and kind of brings it down. Like, okay, well, if they could do it, I could do it. So just those types of things. So I think we're going to go ahead. I know I'm like a couple minutes early. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. So I hope you guys had a chance to check that out. And I hope that you, this is really good. Erin, I'm really going to take this note and bring it back to our team, but let us know if you have any questions. Please reach out to anyone here. Also, if you're having questions, or maybe you want to just run through something, like you're feeling like, "Oh, I really want to do this, but I'm not sure how to." All of us in the room, that's what we're here for, to help you and help you kind of take that no thank you days and take the first leap of actually trying this out yourselves. I think that once you get started, it's always that initial hump, but once you do, you'll get so excited and your students will get excited. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to encourage them, because computer science, as you know, the pandemic has only propelled how much we use technology. So it's really important that we're bringing these skills to our students, because if not, we're really doing them a disservice. Every single job uses some sort of computer and technology every single day. So we do need to expose them, whether they be a computer scientist or not. That's really irrelevant. It's that we're providing them with the skills to make that decision.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and you can use your reactions or come off a mic and just give Lena a big hand. I am like super excited for the presentations for both Lena and Susan, and hopefully you got a lot out of what they shared, and super excited to move forward. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and close everything out and do a couple of little reminders. All of their presentation that they just presented is actually in our CS for All teachers community, and Victoria will actually show you and share with you how you can actually become a member of our community. And I want to share with you one activity. It's called almost like Tag You're It. And it plays on that old-fashioned game that we used to do when we were kids. But basically, it's there's a variety of different resources for the Hour of Code, and we want you to tag someone. I've shared some resources, Susan shared some resources, and both of them are going to actually upload and share some other resources, their presentation, and we're actually recording this webinar, and so you'll have a chance to go back and listen. It will be put out on social media, so you'll have access to that. And so we have a variety of different ways in our CS for All communities that you can engage in some of the things that we talked about tonight, and some of the other things that you may be interested in. And what we're going to do, if you don't mind, just a quick, and instead of going to answer Garden, let's just go ahead and put this in the chat. Just going to give us the 3 words to describe your hour of code experience tonight with Susan and Lena, and just 3 words that you can think of that really kind of describe your experience, your hands-on sandbox, your learning for tonight, and just go ahead and take a few seconds to go ahead and put those in the chat. And if you would love to come off a mic and share something, we would love that too. Okay, so Erin, I am very intrigued by the 2. Me too, always. Engaging, fun, and inspiring, enlightening, inspiring, and cool, very informative and fun, new, exciting, and fun. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And with that, we're going to end it, and Victoria is going to share some other ideas with you and how you can get connected to our CS for All teachers community.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and special thanks to our guests tonight. You guys are just so informative. You had great presentations packed with information. It just really was wonderful, and thank you again for being here with us tonight. So I would encourage everybody to share with their networks, if you're active on social media, that CS for All Teachers does an annual CS Ed Week photo challenge. And we run it during CS Ed Week, of course. And this is a really great opportunity to show CS coming alive in the classroom. The concept of the contest, the challenge, is for teachers to take pictures of their classrooms, working with kids, doing CS, and whatever that looks like in their classroom. You take a picture, you post it to either Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag CS Ed Week 2021 photos. And what it creates is this photo album, like a social photo album, pulling in pictures from all over the world. It's just a really neat contest. And we randomly choose daily winners. And then 15 photos are then selected to qualify for the grand prize. And when they qualify, there's a voting of which is the favorite. And that grand prize winner gets a $500 Amazon gift card. So obviously a great way to thank a teacher around the holidays. So no chump change there. So we encourage you to spread the word. You can retweet one of our contest posts or share on your own social channels and just tag us and use the hashtag and let everybody know that this is going on. And of course, if you don't follow us on Twitter, we encourage you to, because we have a great channel. As Vanessa mentioned, we share all of the newest and greatest stuff and lots of the resources like Vanessa was showing, which I'm amazed at how many are in there, you know. So be sure to check and follow our social media account. And then finally, consider becoming a member of CS for All Teachers. Membership is free. It gives you access to over 8,000 teachers and administrators and, just people playing a variety of roles in schools who support CS education from pre-K to 12. They share resources, they talk, they engage. It's really a special place, and we encourage you to become a member if you're not. So with that, I think we can go ahead and wrap up. Special thanks again to all of our wonderful, our host, Vanessa Jones, CS for All Teachers Ambassador, and our guest tonight, Susan Reeves and Lena Saleh. So thank you. Thank you for everyone for participating. We really appreciate you being here, and I hope you're inspired to participate in the Hour of Code. Obviously, there's so many entry points to doing so. So go get them. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night. And feel free to
Good night.
reach out to us if you have questions or need support.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.